House Republicans are still announcing their plans to increase security at our southern border. Meantime, the Biden administration remaining relatively silent on the issue. President Biden opting not to visit the border during a recent visit to Arizona, claiming there are, quote, more important things to focus on. Mark Lamb is the sheriff of Pinal County in Arizona, and he's with us now. Sheriff, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on. What did you think of President Biden saying there are more important things than a trip to the border?
Well, I didn't think much of it because there's certainly a lot more important things that we are dealing with right here on the border. It was a slap in the face, honestly, to us and the American people and to the people on the southern border, the people that have lost lives from fentanyl. These are the things that we deal with every day. It is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing to America right now. And the amount of people coming in here that would do harm to this country, it is probably the greatest security threat we're dealing with. And for him to say that he had more important things, especially when he's just talking about money deals, that's terrible.
Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma was on a program just in the last hour, and he mentioned the fact that there's not much details given as to where these migrants are coming from, what their backgrounds entail. Can you sort of walk us through the process that CBP agents are told when it comes to actually processing these migrants and learning about who these folks are?
Yeah, it really depends, Emma, on where you're coming in at. If you're coming in through the Yuma sector, they're getting Russians, they're getting Haitians, Brazilians, they're getting people from all over the world. You come into the Tucson sector, which is where I'm at, and they're predominantly military-age men, predominantly from Mexico. A lot of them have had criminal histories here in America, and they're trying to sneak back in. A lot of them work for the cartels. A lot of these people have paid the cartels an exorbitant amount of money to get brought into this country. So there's a lot of different types of people you're dealing with. Where you're catching a lot of those people that are on the terrorist watch list is going to be down in like the Yuma sector or the Rio Grande or El Paso. And just as a note, we had 24,000 apprehensions in the month of November. We've had also 24,000 gotaways in the month of November as well. So you can imagine how many came in that we didn't know about. Right. So we're just getting more and more. The traffic's increasing every day. My guys are just busier and busier every day.
Yeah. And, people were hoping, maybe it would slow down a bit with the change of weather. It doesn't look like that's the case. And then keep in mind, Title 42 set to expire later this month. How's that going to play into the number of encounters you anticipate?
Well, we're already dealing with a disaster here. It's only going to make it more disastrous. It's just going to really open up the floodgates for people to come in. The cartel won't miss this opportunity to put this out to the rest of the world. Hey, you want to come into America? Now's the time. They're not sending you back. Come on over and we'll help you get across. That's what the cartel does. These policies of this administration, these failed policies or lack of, are actually bringing the clients right to the doorsteps of the cartels. They're enslaving these people. They are killing American lives with fentanyl that they're bringing in every day because the policies are weak. And by removing Title 42, it will completely remove any ability that Border Patrol and ICE and CBP have to remove people from this country who are trying to come in illegally.
Kevin McCarthy has made it clear that securing the southern border is a top priority for the GOP once they gain control of the House come January. Is that a welcome sign for you? Do you believe House Republicans could assist the folks at the border during this time?
Well, I believe they have the power to do it. I think they can hold the purse string. I think we as Americans are all pretty disappointed in Republicans and Democrats in their ability to get in there and do their job in Washington. We have not seen a lot of productivity. As a matter of fact, most of what we've seen over the last 2 years under this administration, this current Congress, has been very counterintuitive for Americans, very damaging to American lives. Let's hope that these guys I know Representative McCarthy, I believe that he'll go in and rally the troops. I'm hoping that all the other congressmen will share that same sentiment and that they will go in and get this done. But we've got to have some action there, and I hope he will live up to his word.
Yeah, looks like they're trying to take the first step right now, again, hosting a presser on the House Republicans' plan to secure the southern border. This happening now on the steps of the Capitol. Sheriff Mark Lamb, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless.
You too. Stay safe.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to
Don't
me.
tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
real news
For real people.